My G, this movie has the most fun facts I've ever read in my life. I have more fun facts probably than notes from the movie.
Wait, I'm so excited about that because I really do like Kevin Smith. Not just because he's from our town, basically.
Highlands, yeah.
I'm just going to call our town because
yeah,
we're locals, okay?
Do you know how much local we are? The famous Quick Stop is a 9-minute drive from the house you're in.
I could ride my bike there, I think.
Oh, snap.
Easily. It's along the bike trail.
Oh, well, look at that.
Goes along 36. We could ride bikes when you come.
We could go there and take a picture and, like, blank out our faces because I don't want anyone knowing who we are. But, like, totally.
I'm already forming the pose. I'm ready.
And we should have pictures of you getting out milk and eggs and do, like, recreate scenes, and they'll hate us because I'm sure that's all people do there.
We should recreate, like, we're Jay and Silent Bob, and, like, whoever has the longer, blonder hair can be Jay, and then the other one can be Silent Bob.
I feel
just wear a hat.
I feel like I said you had Jay hair last time and you got offended, so I could do it if you feel like it's too much.
I think I just got offended because I was like, my hair's so gross and straw-like.
No, I thought it was, like, beautiful and flowy. But now that I've watched the movie, I understand it was a little greasy in the movie, so.
Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, 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 sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Can I help you?
Welcome on that note.
Welcome.
I love that.
I assure you, we're open.
We're open, and there's no gum in the locks, I don't think. All right, so we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics or movie clerks.
Oh!
Don't be confused.
Wow.
So we are not movie critics, and we look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And if you make change, don't steal and be honest.
If you plan to shoplift, let us
it.
know.
Oh, that was it. Shoot, I definitely have that written down. I just
so
I don't even know what I said.
It's so good. And so, okay, I've noticed something. What people don't know is we obviously record ahead of this, and then you send me your edited, and I listen to it. But then when it goes live, I listen to it again because I don't live in your state and I miss you, and I just listen to it. It's probably so egotistical. However, I've realized that all of the movie names are on the podcast. So we make this big thing about naming the movie, but people already know. They picked the movies.
Yeah, but what if they are illiterate or blind? I mean, come on. We gotta be inclusive.
That is inclusive. How totally rude of me.
I assure you
yes,
are inclusive.
The movie title is, which you clicked on, if you're not blind, how rude of me, Clerks. So the 1994, because there's all sorts of Clerks, the original.
Oh, yeah.
1994.
The first one.
Wow. Kevin Smith.
I love him.
I went down the rabbit hole on his Instagram account. He's hilarious.
I love him. I've always loved him for many different reasons. This movie obviously being one of them. I feel like I like most of his movies. Which you may know this fun fact, but I gotta whip it out because it's one of my favorites.
Whip it good.
When I was maybe 10 or 11.
Oh boy.
Which is too young to watch Clerks.
Too young.
I did not watch Clerks the movie, but there was a very short run TV show called Clerks the Animated Series.
Oh yeah.
And it was very short run for a multitude of reasons, but not for the reason that it was bad. I actually think it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And I watched that before I ever watched this movie. And I fell in love with Kevin Smith, and I thought he was so awesome. Because it is kind of like a toned down, it's definitely not a rated R cartoon.
It's not as
It's
crass.
like a PG-13y. So like, it's a little different, but like it's the same concept, and they kind of just like do spoofs of movies and other things, and I think it's so funny. So yeah, I wish there were more of those, but there will never be. Ever, which is so sad because it was so good. I have it on DVD. I literally own it because I love it.
What? Can we watch that when I come home? That would be so fun.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So that's that. Also, if you know me, any listeners out there, you know that I love Degrassi. Whatever it takes.
Oh, yes.
And how the heck does that relate to Kevin Smith, you ask?
I do know.
I will tell you, because he was a fan of the original Degrassi series, and when it became Degrassi The Next Generation, which is the best, everyone, seasons 1 through probably 10. It's okay.
Drake.
Cut off there. Anyway, season 4. He is in season 4 for like a couple episodes because he basically is shooting a movie, like a fake movie, in the show. And so he's in some episodes and he like loved the show, and then he got to be in the next show. And then there was a made-for-TV movie called Degrassi Goes to Hollywood, and he was also in that, and so was Jason Mewes, and they were making another movie. So we were just made to be friends.
Wait, you missed out another fun fact. The character Veronica in Clerks was named after the Degrassi person.
Veronica. Yep.
So how about them apples?
Yeah.
Should we give the plot? Is there a plot? Is this a plot movie?
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to give it, because I feel like it can sum it.
Spend 90% talking about how much you love Kevin Smith. The last 10 explain the movie.
Summarize Degrassi seasons 1 through 4, just to get you guys warmed up. JK, but I could do that if anyone wants to. So anyway,
you're like, check out my separate podcast, Degrassi Rules.
It's just me verbally explaining every single episode. I can actually do that from memory. That's not a joke. Okay, we have to move on because that will keep going.
It's
so
good.
the plot. So basically, it's about 2 clerks, Dante and Randall, who work next door to each other. Dante works in the convenience store, the Quick Stop, and Randall works in RST Video, which is a video store, because 'twas the 90s.
Dream of the 90s is alive in Portland.
This movie would have been also well if it was in Portland, but I'm so glad it was in Jersey. And so they're kind of like cynical, and Dante, the way it starts off is Dante is sleeping and he gets called into work and he's not even supposed to be there today.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Blech. So that kind of, whatever. And really the whole movie is just in one single day, and it's kind of just showing all the crap that Dante has to deal with, showing Randall, and you kind of start to see their personalities, and they kind of have different personalities. You meet Dante's current girlfriend, Veronica. She's a college student. Then you eventually meet one of Dante's ex-girlfriends, Caitlin. She's a trip. And then there's some other side characters, Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh!
Our favorite drug dealers. Couldn't say those straight face. They are. But, they just hang outside the store, and they're just there. They don't really...
They're just 2 white drug dealers not getting arrested.
No, and everyone knows that they do it, and they're just there, and everyone's like, those crazy kids.
Thanks for being convenient. I can buy some Cheetos when I go inside. 2 for 1.
I mean, the whole movie is just kind of these little events that happen in a day that kind of culminate to an ending where they somewhat get really fed up with their situations in different ways, and they just talk about that and talk about life, and that's kind of it. I mean, how much stuff can you fit in a day,
Mm-hmm.
So...
I'll echo, it puts the viewer into the role of working at the store. And so, you see the customer straight on. You realize what it's like to deal with these dumb customers all day.
Yup.
You also realize I think they were 22 and no idea of where they're going in their lives. I read a lot about this Generation X kind of being like disillusioned with the 80s economy hit the 37. The 90s really wasn't that great, and they just didn't know what they wanted to do, and just kind of like a little like
topical.
Portlandia went through my head. What?
I said topical.
I know. Is that now? Are we in?
Oh God!
But he did it in a way because it was such a low budget movie. You experience, honestly, like a home video vibe of, you know that person. That was a wild time to talk that way. So the dialogue, it's a dialogue movie. Where really heavy dialogue, but also like really explicit and...
rated R.
Yeah, beyond. And I have a note on why it's rated R, which is hilarious to me. But I think all in all, the learning is when you are in a dead-end job and you got nowhere to go, you got your buddy by your side. And, like, that to me is... like, which, by the way, you know me. I mean, how many jobs did I have as a kid? Like, watching this movie, I was like, oh, yeah, I've met that customer, that customer, that customer. I've dealt with that, I've dealt with that. I mean, I'm like, yeah, it's too real.
Yeah.
It's trauma. Woof. The difference, though, is, like, they're 22, and I think less people have those types of jobs at 22 than when you're younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know how many fun facts I should run down and space it out, but the rated R comment...
yeah.
It was... I forget what they called it, but it was worse than rated R.
Like,
and
X?
It was like MC-12, whatever nonsense they call it.
Okay.
And at the time, they were... not when it first came out, but then Miramax, like, tied themselves to it. And Miramax was like, this is going to kill us, because some of these theaters never even show these types of movies. So they got a lawyer to, like, fight, you know, the FCC, I don't know, whoever the heck it is. But you know who the lawyer was?
Johnny Cochran.
O.J. Simpson's lawyer!
Johnny Cochran?
I think it was the other one, but yeah, like, yeah.
It's Johnny Cochran, isn't that his lawyer?
Hold on.
What?
To fight Clerks ratings. Isn't that insane?
That's so crazy. When was the OJ murdered? Or alleged, whatever.
It was called NC-17. Alan Dershowitz.
Oh, who the heck is Johnny Cochran?
Well, Johnny Cochran and Alan Dershowitz was also his lawyer, I believe.
Oh. Well, Johnny Cochran was like the rhyming guy. He was like Dr. Seuss.
Yeah. But yes, isn't that wild?
That's so crazy. And they won, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And then I think the other things, like getting into... because I was really obsessed with, why did this become such like a cult classic? And I was just kind of digging the internet for that. Like, why? And
yeah.
I think a lot of people saw themselves in this film.
I was going to say, very relatable.
Very relatable. And Kevin Smith, first of all, he actually worked at that Quick Stop. So I'm sure you'll love him even more from that. And they filmed it at night. Like, the owner let them film it there at night. And
what?
The reason that, you know how the gum gets stuck in the locks?
Yeah.
The reason for that storyline was because it was dark. And so they wanted it to, like, look dark. And I thought that was hilarious. But to pay for the film, this is what I read. He maxed out 12 credit cards, sold all his comic books.
Oh my God.
And, like, some sort of hurricane happened, which, hey, it's the Highlands. Hurricanes happen. That
definitely
messed up his car or house, and he got a FEMA check. Put those all together, and this whole movie cost $27,000.
Wow.
So I think people were just like, not only is it like a rags to riches, but it also is like, I know those people. I wear those outfits. I talk like that. And I read about it now, and it's like Judd Apatow does movies now like that. Where back then, like, nobody did that. So I was really kind of obsessed with the whole, like, cult classic. But it's a good movie. It is a little... everything I read thought it, like, aged well. I was like, oh, some of it did.
Yes, some stuff was a little cringy. But I felt like some of the stuff that was cringy was supposed to be cringy.
Yes. It was aware of its cringiness.
Yeah, like Randall. Like every...
yes.
Not everything, but a lot of the stuff.
A lot.
You're like, don't say that. But that was his, I don't know, character. Where he was like, I don't care because no one cares.
Because I work at a video store.
Okay, that one scene where he goes to the other video store. He's like, I want to go to a good video store.
Oh my God.
And he's in there and he's just walking around. And it's like, oh! I wrote a note being like, That was like me at Blockbuster.
Oh, I thought you were going to say West Coast Video. That was like around the corner.
Well, I don't remember going there, even though we lived right there. No, I remember going to Blockbuster more.
Yeah. That was
So fun.
an epic night. If you, like, think about, we sound like old people right now.
We are.
Oh, stop. It's like Friday night, we'd be like, whoa, movie. No way. Wait, can we get like 2? Do you remember
Can we
when
get
we'd be
like Goobers?
can we get candy? You know what was weird? As I was watching this, I was like, I like wasn't even high, even though this sounds like a high comment, but I was like, whoa, I'm watching this movie on a streaming channel and he's at a video store. Whoa.
Oh my god, self-aware. I can't.
I was like, how cool.
You sounded like that one character whose name I don't know, who literally, where he's talking to Veronica and he's like, hey man, how you doing, man? And I was like, is he talking to Dante? And then he was talking to Veronica. He just kept calling her a man. It was so funny.
There was one character that I was like, was that my old softball coach? And I like wanted to Google him.
It might have been.
Was that Mr. Romano?
Oh, God. I actually met someone who was in this movie.
What? Where? How? What? How?
I won't say names, but one of my best friends who has an older sister, when we were in high school, she was friends with a girl who obviously went to my high school, who played the 4-year-old girl who bought a pack of cigarettes. That was her. So I met that girl.
And as a 4-year-old, did you interview her and ask her all the things she knew as a 4-year-old
obviously she
actress?
wasn't 4 at the time. She's older than me. So, yeah. Oh my god.
Oh
it's so
my
funny.
god, that's great. That is like, wow, you are blowing my mind with your facts. Ugh. Okay, so he gets called into work and
Falls out of the closet.
okay, why is he in the closet? Can we talk about that?
I don't know.
Is he just like that sad at life and he's like, it's my day off, I'm just gonna cry in the closet? Like, is that what we were supposed to...
Like, part of me was wondering, are you hungover?
Yeah.
But then he didn't say anything about that. So I guess he wasn't. So I don't know what the excuse was. The dog was on the bed. I mean, I can relate to that. Wow.
Totes.
Dogs on beds and then they throw up. So
that sucks.
I'm going to edit that out. Okay. Anyway.
And then you go to your job at the Quick Stop. Oh, wait.
Wait.
So... But his whole, like, that was weird, and then the corded phone, I was like, yes! Because a lot of films that are aware, like, technology will age, how they don't kind of show things, I kind of love when they do. Because you're like, what? This movie was totally filmed at this era. The baggy hockey jersey, backwards hat, flannel, acid wash jeans, you're just like... Oh my god, beyond. It's kind of like the moment in Clueless where she's like, with their greasy hair and their, baggy jeans, and they're like, like they even want to date us. You know, she goes on that whole monologue. Yeah. I was like, that's this movie. Like, they all dress like that.
Guy in this movie, pretty much. Yeah.
And how about, like, just way ahead of his time, another reason why you probably love Kevin Smith, is how much he was against cigarette smoking, which is very ahead of his time in the 90s when everyone was just smoking chimneys. And that whole first scene where the guy's like, he takes out the fake black lung and he's talking about, why are you guys smoking? And then the mob starts and they're throwing cigarettes in his face. I was like, this is amazing. Like, this aged well.
And then the one guy, after the salesman gets chased out, the one guy's like, so, like, can I have a pack of cigarettes now?
But you're like, yes, we all know you.
Also, that guy just carries around a black lung? I just feel like there's better ways to sell gum. I don't understand.
Also, okay, a little bit of a plot hole is... gum sales, I didn't know if it was nicotine gum. That was my assumption.
I think it was just regular gum.
So because it was regular gum, like, gum companies actually want you to smoke because those people, like, chew more gum because their breath stinks. So that didn't make any sense. But I liked where Kevin Smith was going because I thought, very ahead of your time. And he talks about that, like, Silent Bob smokes in the film, and he, like, hated it because he had to, like, smoke or whatever. Yeah. Which I was like, you're the director. You can't, like, write that out. I'm so confused.
I mean, I guess they're supposed to be, like,
bro,
chilling.
I guess, yeah. You just sounded like an old lady. You're like, I guess they're supposed to be, hi, chilling.
Those cool kids say.
Oh my god.
I love it. I don't know. All those little scenes that just show how crazy some people are.
Well, and then as the mob is chucking cigarettes, this movie had this like back and forth, I support women and I tear them down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just meet Veronica as she takes the fire hydrant, saves the day by blowing smoke, calling out that he's a gum salesman, and like, you're full of crap, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, the next scene, he's going on and on about all her
37
she did. And I'm like, wait. Do we support women and their heroes because she's going to college, he's not? Or are they just, like, big old slitter bags?
Yeah, that was annoying. I guess it was trying to show how Dante's kind of a hypocrite.
Oh. Yeah,
and kind of allude to, because you didn't know yet at that point that he had been like reconnected with Caitlin.
Oh yeah,
like that wasn't introduced at that point.
Yeah,
so he's like going on and on about.
Ugh, he was so annoying.
That's all I heard when he spoke at that scene.
Ugh,
and
so annoying. Although he was painting her nails, so I was like, how lovely.
In Clerks too, he keeps doing that.
Aww.
But not to her, to like other women. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, because you're right. It was like, there were points where you're like, yeah, but then they would do something and you were like, all right. Or like someone would treat them a certain way and you're like, okay, well now I'm annoyed. I was happy and I'm annoyed.
Yeah, it was very, which by the way, that kind of was the 90s. Like there was a lot of problematic talk and every movie was male dominated and they wrote the script. And what's funny about this is like, it actually allowed women to like embrace their sexuality of like, yeah, man, I had sex with all these men, and I went down on all these men, and kind of like, what's your problem? But like, gave them a voice. They were also the college educated. Oh, I guess Honey's like, she's like, what's up? Me too, yo.
I'm a woman.
I'm a free-spirited woman.
She's like, I don't need no man. I had 5 litters of puppies. I don't need no man.
You're like, honey, we know.
Honey boo boo, take a seat. It's okay.
So, they also went on, I think, a very still relevant, although racy, so kids, close your ears. But the whole thing about how men
37
and women
37
and how his
37
mindset as a man of like, well, it's easy for men to do it, so like women just have to sit there and do nothing. But for men, I'm like a god if I make it happen. And you're like, I want to punch you in the face of how many things are wrong with this statement. However, as a typical white man, you always have a conversation around how you're a god, and always about how you're the best, and always about how like you come through. And then I just like, I don't know, I was kind of like, okay, I'm over this.
I also kind of got the sense that, because I mean, I get he was obviously like he's dating Veronica, so they are to the point where they can have conversations like that. But it was interesting because I almost felt like he was like more pompous and like presumptive and cocky with talking to her. But when he's talking to Caitlin, it was like total opposite, where he was like little puppy with his tail between his legs. But I think that was his character, because he was kind of like, oh, Veronica, whatever. She's kind of annoying, you know? And then everyone in the movie's like, but she's really great. And then he's like, oh, you're right. Well, he's chasing like the girl who cheated on him 800 times, which they make a joke about so much in the TV show.
Oh my god, it's so good.
So awesome.
The fact that like even around Randall, he's like, oh god, Randall, you're too much. It's like, listen, when I was in college for 2 years, I lived with 2 boys on the baseball team, or 2 men, I should say. And having the baseball team over talking about how they talk about women and how detailed they get, men are gross.
I mean, you had like purchased porn TV on your TV.
Oh yeah,
I'd be like,
I'd come home after a party and I'd be like, well, look at here, you guys ended up here with 40s again. Nothing else to do.
Look where we are.
And
listen here, Clerks.
They would like go into detail about people I knew and who they hooked up with. You're like, ew. And I feel like Randall embodied that. And then Dante wasn't so much. He like just cared. It was funny. He like cared what everybody thought, but then didn't.
Yes.
With like Caitlin, and you were like, you don't even know who you are, which was very indicative of like his life at the store and where he didn't know where he was going. Okay, we hammered that home. Honestly, I really wrote, this is just a bunch of cranky Jersey people complaining about dumb shit.
37.
Yes. Sure is.
Oh my god.
With, like, kind of a stream of plot bringing us
Kinda.
somewhere. Like, a little. Like, there would be, like, one little piece of plot, and then while that person is talking about the plot, it would cut to, like, some random person who's reacting to something, or, like, stealing coffee, or, like, watching a cat pee on a litter box on the counter.
God. Oh my god, so that whole cat scene I read about, because what the hell else do I have to do with my life? Apparently, the owner of the cat, they were like, we want this cat to, like, go to the bathroom. And so the owner was like, okay, I'm gonna hide the litter box from this cat all day. So when it's, like, action for your movie, it'll do its thing. And so it did. And Kevin Smith was like, that's how PETA didn't, like, yell at us, because it was, like, the owner taking care of the cat. It's like, this is such a weird fact.
I love how there was a cat just in the store, and there would be scenes where, like, something ridiculous was happening, and it would cut to the cat, and the cat's just sitting there like, ugh, you people.
But, like, okay, the politically incorrect stuff.
Yeah.
They're really homophobic,
Mm-hmm.
using the F word,
Yep.
and talking about deviant lifestyles.
Yep.
They're racist, talking about Caitlyn's fiance being Asian. Oh my god.
Yep.
When the guy, he felt like a Hasidic Jew to me when that guy came in.
The one who ended up in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Who died?
Yeah. And I was
Okay.
like prepared for them to like say something.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And I was like,
Yeah.
interesting. And I feel like some of the female stuff was like sexist, but all in all, for as dirty as they were, it could have been worse, I think.
Oh, yes.
Could have been way worse.
Definitely.
Which is kind of sad. You know what I also thought was really messed up? And this is a knock to Simpsons. If you were to ask, okay, say you say to an 11-year-old today, and you're like, hey, there's this movie called Clerks, and it's about these two guys that work at a convenience store. It's kind of like a 7-Eleven. Who do you think they look like?
Yeah, I know where you're going.
An Indian guy. Like, what's the character's name in Simpsons?
Apu.
Apu. And, like, how messed up is that?
Well, not to reference Clerks the cartoon series every 2 seconds.
Put a ding
But
every
it's
time you reference it.
so
please.
amazing. Everyone go check it out. They make a joke about that because
Do they?
They
Okay.
do. But, like, it's not inappropriate.
Oh, is it
like,
a bad joke or are they making fun of themselves?
No, they're making fun of themselves, but they reference, it was like a skit where they were like, remember that, it was, I don't know, like, they were like, remember that time we won a contest and got to go to India? And then they were like, white clerks in India, and the Indian guy was like, you clerks are always white people, what's up with that? And like, so it was like that, where you're like,
That's
oh, okay.
awesome.
That's funny.
I also felt like so many things that I was like, we've all done this at a job. Where, like, the Asbury Park, he did, like, fill up the newspaper with the Asbury Park Press.
He went and bought it!
And he went and bought it, and you're just like, what? And then, but then he ended up, like, getting his money, so he, like, stole it. And the guy that came in, this made me laugh so hard. The guy that came in was, like, talking about the aliens. And he was,
My God.
did you think about Dad? Be honest. Like, think about the convenience store near us. Sorry, but it's just, think about him being like, he's like, yo, this is my friend Larry and, Tommy or whatever the hell their names are. And he's like, get me 17 lottery tickets. And did you read the story on page 17? And if Randall worked there, Randall would spit in Dad's face.
Oh, God.
It's too real, Kate.
See, that was a cringy moment for me because
That was
I get
cringy.
it.
I thought that was so rude. I thought he should have got smacked.
And, like, he is rude and fine, but he was being rude in ways that weren't like that. Like, that was a little crossing the line. And
I thought
then
it crossed the line.
His, like, explanation for it was like, oh, well, I proved you wrong because you were saying that, a title dictates behavior. And so there, I proved you wrong. And I was like, okay, little toddler boy man, let's back it up and stop it.
I think if that was refilmed today, the guy that he spit the water in the face should have punched him back. And then he should have, like, been knocked out.
And then, like, left. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we talk about the most relatable scene?
I hope you don't say the egg guy, because I gotta go, if that's
Oh,
the case.
my God. There'll be, like, 30 minutes on the egg guy, because it's in your field. I know you're not a guidance counselor, I know it, but
I'm not.
the scene where it's just a clip of some dude with his hand stuck in a Pringles box. And he's pulling it. He's like, hold on. I was like, okay, I'm just going to tell you right now, Kate, if you haven't gotten your hand stuck in a Pringles box, you ain't living. Sorry.
Oh, I definitely have with the pizza Pringles. Come on.
Come on. You ain't sour cream and onion? You ain't living. Duck faces? You ain't living.
And then, like, Randall pulls it out, and the guy's like, whoa, see, I don't need to go to the hospital. Or Dante, oh, it was Dante. Dante's like, okay, you can leave now.
Well, no, he gave him a lecture where he was like, you know, sometimes the bottom of the chips aren't worth it.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay. But, okay, the egg guy. I didn't get it. And I know they're like, guidance counselors don't do anything, so they lose their mind, and so what, he just like looks at eggs? I didn't get it. Can you explain it to me? Did you
Okay,
get it?
I don't think I can explain why it was looking for eggs, but I think point was because there was a lady that comes in, and she's like, oh, I've seen that before, or something weird.
By the way, that was Kevin Smith's sister.
That's so funny. Hold on, let me find my notes. Okay, I have Randall is rude to some annoying lady in the video store. That could be anyone. So who knows what scene that was. Oh, and that's when he was like, I hope it feels so good to be right. And then there's a guy looking through the carton of eggs. He's a guidance counselor. They talk about, because they were like, oh, guidance counselors, they're so useless. And like, they feel like they don't have a purpose in their job. So like, it causes them to have this made up psychological disorder where they have to find the perfect eggs. But I think the point was then the lady says, that's why it's important to have a meaningful job. So I think it was supposed to introduce that topic, where it's like causing them to actually think, do you have a meaningful job? Which they end up talking about a lot that they kind of don't.
So I was going to go down the rabbit hole of like, are high school girls and boys like holding eggs like babies and they don't have to crack them? And so he's finding the perfect egg. Like I was literally trying to make sense of it and did not get it.
I don't think the eggs are the important part. I think the important part was that it was saying this person has a specific type of job that they don't feel fulfilled in, and therefore they are losing their mind.
Do you think that's also like a 90s thing where like nobody cared about mental health and so they're just like, who cares about guidance counselors? Or do you feel like guidance counselors don't do anything today? We're asking at the scene. Tell me right now. This is the news show. Okay.
Well, I actually did kind of wonder that because I was like, maybe it's because they do say a line. They're like, yeah, my guidance counselor didn't do anything. And like, like they now work in a convenience store. So then you're kind of like, okay, is that like they didn't do anything for you or like just in general? And that's why you feel like you're there? Or, I mean, I guess, but it didn't.
Because like guidance counselors now like just tell you like you can't get into Harvard. I feel like that's like every scene.
They do. And they schedule your classes, which I can do myself.
Remember Miss Kitty Cat from 10 Things I Hate About You? She was also a worthless guidance counselor. Man, everyone just dogs on guidance counselors.
Some issues there. Some stuff's going on, I think.
Well.
Guys, if you're like Dante and Randall, you know how important it is to have something entertaining to do to pass the time. What better way than to get yourself a premium subscription to Audible? Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks. There are thousands of audiobooks, Audible originals, and, oh yeah, podcasts, among other things in their Plus catalog. I am currently listening to Mr. Queen King, Kevin Smith's book, Tough Shit. Life advice from a fat, lazy slob who did good. And spoiler alert, it's amazing. Use our promo code to claim your free 30-day Premium Plus Audible membership. You get a free audiobook, as well as access to all the other awesome content Audible has to offer. You can cancel anytime because there's no commitments for this free trial, just like Caitlin Brie likes it. Click the Audible link in our show notes to take advantage of this offer.
Okay, another dad moment is the milk lady.
The milkmaid! He's a milkmaid!
Yeah, he's a milkmaid. I literally said to Mose, I was like, he made me do this. I would go and take every jug of milk out of the fridge, and I gotta find the perfect date. And if I'm lazy about it, and he watches, he comes back and goes, yeah, that's only 2 days away. I believe there's a 4-day away. Get in that fridge. You're like, oh, that's the milk lady. And then I loved how Dante was like, Jesus, they're always looking for that perfect milk, losing their mind for that perfect milk. I was like, yes, this is my life.
You're like, Dad, stop rubbing it in, okay? We know. I had to find the milk. It was the worst. I like that scene because it was just them kind of where Randall was like, yeah, what do you not like about the job? Dante's like, I don't know. And he's like, come on, man. Vent about it. Like, you know, you gotta let it out. And then that's what he said, the milkmaid. But Randall was like going off about people in the video store. And he goes, you know, when these people come in and they pick the worst movies ever. None of them are good picks. And then it cuts to some guy standing alone. He's like not even close to the camera. He's far away. And he holds up this little VHS box and he goes, ooh, Navy SEAL. It just comes back.
Oh, it's too real.
Oh, it's just so funny. I think
that was a good scene.
I think video stores were kind of dying by the time I was in high school, but I feel like I would have loved to work in a video store. I would have had
my God.
way too much fun with that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it's funny. I have two things. I have notes about the older guy who needs to use the bathroom, the Jewish guy, and he has hemorrhoids, and I need a toilet paper, and I need a porno magazine, and you were just like, ew. And like Dante wasn't even phased. He was like, yeah, sure, man.
No, he was like, are you serious? But then he did it anyway because Dante's a pushover.
He's such a pushover.
Yes.
But it was like foreshadowing. So it like got that guy in the bathroom. And you're like, cool. And then I didn't put this together until later. But the whole thing, how they're like, hey, did you hear like so-and-so passed away in their wakes today? Mm-hmm. And he was just like, oh, wow, I had like sex with her. And he's like, ew, you had sex with a dead girl? And I was like, what? Foreshadowing. What? Kevin Smith, you're so fun.
They also foreshadowed what was going to happen because Dante told the story. He was like, one of the times I got cheated on by Caitlin, I was passed out and she snuck into the room with the lights off and started doing stuff, but she thought I was someone else. And that was also like foreshadowing. She was like, Caitlin, no, turn the lights on.
The worst. She was the worst. Okay, let's take a moment and appreciate Jay and Silent Bob.
I love them so much.
So Kevin Smith first of all, Dante is based on Kevin Smith. And he wanted to play either him or Randall, but he was like, this is way too much. I'm like directing, acting, like too much. I want like a really easy role. So hence Silent Bob.
Where he doesn't speak.
He doesn't speak. However, the only reason he does the one line was because Jason Mewes, that's how you say his name?
Yep.
Jason Mewes is like, that's literally like how my personality was. Like, I was like that person. Like, that's who I was. And so when they asked him to act, he was like nervous. And he was like, oh, I don't want to act. So they just got him drunk all the time. And he was just like wild and crazy.
Okay.
And the one that line that Silent Bob says, that's like, hey, I don't see a lot of girls bringing you lasagna for lunch. A lot of girls cheat on you. You should appreciate her, blah, blah, blah. That was supposed to be Jay's line, but he was too nervous. So then that like set up Silent Bob to always have the one line in a movie.
Oh,
I mean, how fun.
Oh, I love that. Well, it's kind of like somewhat of a trend because there's a lot of movies where Jay and Silent Bob are they're like in the background or it's about them. There's Jay and Silent Bob movies specifically. And then Kevin Smith, aka Silent Bob, will speak. And now I'm just thinking of the cartoon again. I'm just thinking of the cartoon.
Oh my God.
Now.
Yo, drink every time Katie brings up the cartoon. New
Guys,
drinking
you
game.
have to all watch it. Like, spend the money. It's definitely not streaming anywhere.
It's at a video store. The last one open. Go find the video store. Randall still works
videos. Talk to Randall. He'll curse you off. Okay.
Ugh.
Yeah, same thing in there. So I love them. I mean, I
They're
don't
great.
love drug dealers. That's not good. Not great.
Oh, please. Drug dealers now are just like a bunch of white frat dudes running corporations. Like, please.
Right. Like, I think people hear the term and they think of a very extreme scenario, and these guys weren't. They were just kind of chilling, and like they didn't have weapons. Like, I could go beat them up if I wanted to, probably. It was like that kind of situation, like you said, and they were just kind of like doofy.
They were super doofy.
Yeah.
And they felt like, it was funny. It was like mirroring the guys inside for the like real job, barely making money, and the guys outside, barely making money, just kind of doing nothing all day. And you're like, yeah, man, welcome to life, where like most of these types of retail jobs are so boring.
Yep.
Like all those customer interactions, I was like, oh God, it's so real. It's so real. So many moments. But the difference is like, because of where we grew up, I would also see some like rich snobby people. So the one like rich guy that comes in who's like a jerk and they throw his keys out. Yeah. I feel like we got way more of that. I'm like, yeah. Like specifically, I remember at our Chapel Beach Club where I flipped hamburgers and worked the greaser.
I forgot you did that. Whoa.
I gave some kid French fries, and he ate all of them. Some 37 little snot. Comes back, and one French fry is left, and some hair. And he hands me the thing, goes, hey, I had hair in my French fries. I need new French fries. And I was so fed up that I was like, that's from your own head. I'm not giving you French fries. And he was like, ah! And
you were Randall.
I was Randall. And he like ran away, and then I spit water in his face, and then I got fired. No, I'm kidding. But just people, this is why I truly believe they say like everyone should be a server or everyone should work at a retail job. Like, you cannot treat people like garbage.
It's very humbling.
It is humbling. And like Randall goes on this whole tirade of like, you think you're so high and mighty of these customers that they're so dumb, and like he kind of flipped it on its head. But I'm like, today's society needs the opposite. I think everyone needs to have like a crap job. And now I sound old again. Maybe I should talk about Blockbuster. Oh god. I don't know. But it's just like, it was so real. And things like, this is my favorite scene, which is so me. When Randall has the chips and salsa, he takes the chip like a shark fin. He's like, did it. I was like, dude, that's what you did. You were so bored. You just made up dumb stuff like that. And then you're like, wow, cool. 30 minutes went by. Job's almost done. Awesome.
Oh my god. My favorite scene was when they were doing the hockey game on the roof. And the one guy comes up and he is like, hey, open the store. And he's like, no, man, like, once first purist on. And he's like, oh my god, like, whatever. And then they start arguing. And the guy goes, lose the skates, Dorothy Hamill. And then someone else goes, yeah, let's go, Dorothy, get in the game. I just love it because it's just, everyone just rags on each other. And like, it's just so
also,
funny.
okay, we also grew up in like a neighborhood where you would do that. First of all, our neighbor Lauren, 37, Jimmy and the other boys who were older would force her to be the goalie for hockey and like just chuck balls at her.
Horrific drama.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
And the scene where that same guy just takes the hockey ball and chucks it, like that stuff happens.
He like slap-shotted it.
He slap-shotted it away, and he was like, I hate all of you. The game, like, or that's like the person that like stabs a hole in the soccer ball. It's like, game over, I hate you all.
Yep.
It's like, dude, life skills, man.
And then Dante goes, are there any balls down there? And then Jay, what's up, Bob? He goes, biggest birdies you ever seen, dude?
Do you think, like, Jay, okay, maybe because you just put out the Napoleon Dynamite, do you think, like, Jay is, like, the modern day Kip?
That's what Kip would be if Kip, like, did drugs.
If Kip sold weed in Jersey, he would end up like Jay.
I mean, he might have, I don't know. Who knows what his life ended up like when he left Idaho. He could have run the world.
Yeah. But just so good. Also fast. Like, the dialogue was hard to keep up with if you were doing, like, what we do, which is trying to remember it. I think you should just kind of live in it.
I also noticed, which I guess I never necessarily appreciated until this time around, but there were a lot of scenes. It was one take, but it was long. Like, impressively so. You know? Because a lot of times, like, I don't know, when people are acting, like, sometimes there's a lot of cuts. So really, you're only saying, like,
nowadays
2 words, and then it's like, okay, now we cut here. And, like, you don't have to memorize as much. But, like, some of the actors, they didn't memorize a lot. There was a scene with Dante and Caitlin where they were in the video store. That went on for, like, 5 minutes. I was like, holy moly, this is still going on. The camera hasn't even moved. This is so impressive.
Excuse me, do you want to know where they were recruited from?
Where who?
The actors were recruited from in our local town.
Wait, I think I know.
Where?
Well, I don't remember the name. What was... You tell me, because I think I'm going to...
The Atlantic Highlands Playbill, like, Playhouse.
Oh, that's not what I was going to say at all.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was going to be my old acting place.
Oh, no. Because he had basically, like, because he had no money, he, like, asked friends and families, and then he went to the local Playhouse. It was like, yo, Atlantic Highlands, like, we need some actors.
Yeah.
The only other fun fact I had, which is ew now, is Miramax picked this up, which means Harvey Weinstein's involved. And
Ugh.
Harvey Weinstein did not like this movie because in the beginning, the whole cigarette scene and like no cigarettes and cigarettes bad. And I guess he's like a big smoker. No shock to anyone. He's literally the devil incarnate.
Yep.
And his like coworkers were like, no, man, like this is good. You need to like stick with it. And so you got to look this up. Kevin Smith and whoever was with him, they like met with Harvey Weinstein. He's like, we're going to make you effing famous. We're going to be the best. Oh, and it like goes on and on. And they were like, Jesus Lord, this guy's intense. And the soundtrack for the movie literally came from like Miramax being like, we're going to like outspend on the music because basically like the film's done. And like you like literally spent no money on the film, so we're gonna like buy all the music.
Okay.
And like pay for a lawyer to make it like rated R and not rated NC.
Pay for Johnny Cochran, who's not Johnny Cochran because he doesn't rhyme. Yes. Yes. Very interesting.
Also, like this would be a good movie to like watch with a group of older teens. Oh yeah, definitely smoking the jubie. And like watch with a group of like late teens, early 20s and see what the modern day vocabulary is. So we did not talk about the famous thing, which is totally inappropriate. Snowblowing. Snowballing? Snowball?
I thought it was snowball.
Snowballing. Gross.
Yeah.
I was trying to tell Mose about it and we were eating dinner and he's like, no, don't tell me this right now.
Not a good
time. I was like, no, do you remember the part? He's like, yeah, stop talking.
He's like, cover Penny's ears. My God.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of things like that.
Okay, think about it now. Well, I guess people are more isolated now, which is kind of interesting. COVID's one thing, but in general, like...
alone. Oh.
But, like, technology has made, like, you wouldn't sit in a group of, like, your friends at a house. You're gonna, like, I don't know, tweet people. I don't know. I sound so old this episode. Please make me sound younger. How do we do this? What does Mary do? That should be when we feel old. What does Mary do?
Make it a TikTok? What?
Oh my God.
When in doubt, TikTok it out. Yeah.
But I don't know. All in all, I would watch this again. I would recommend it for people.
I think it's good for people who like to talk philosophically.
Yes.
Because I think it definitely, and not like, why are we in the universe philosophical, but like, why am I in the store as a clerk philosophical?
Yeah. Or my romantic relationship. Why am I obsessed with someone who's a jerk to me?
Yes.
Which is very 22, right? Like, everyone, like, listen to any Taylor Swift album. Why did I like the person who was a jerk to me and cheated on me 18 times? It's like, because you're an idiot, because you're 22. Like, nobody likes you when you're 22.
Yep. And I don't know, like, even though Randall was a jerk, I do feel like he was also a little more of a realist with some of the stuff.
He was a good friend.
Like, he was even the one who was like, Veronica's cool. Why are you talking to Caitlin? Like, she sucks.
Yep.
And then he would say, like, okay, if you don't like this job, why don't you leave? Because you just sit here and complain. So why don't you just leave? And then Dante's like, and he's like, you feel comfortable and you don't want to do anything, but you blame it on everyone else and it's your fault. And like, you know, you can change that, but you don't. So I don't know. Like, I like that. And I felt like with the two of them, their relationship, and it was interesting at the end to kind of hear where Dante's like, you caused so many problems in my life, Randall. And like, you know, you did this, you got me a fine for the cigarettes and you got me in trouble. And then you told like Veronica, but then Randall was like he was telling like his side. And like for Veronica, he was like, I was trying to help you because you said that you never feel like you're able to do anything. So I thought I was helping you. And then he was like, I come to the video store because I want to hang out with you. And I thought I was being your friend. And like, it was interesting because you're like, it's so simple.
So simple, man.
Yeah, but it's like a simple storyline where it's just talking about life and how sometimes people that you're close with, you see it differently than them.
In my retail career as a teen, as you grow in seniority, working with people you like is everything. Because when you are stuck in some dumb place for 8 hours taking cash, making burgers, making chalk, whatever the job I worked at, if you don't work with someone you like, it's death. Randall, respect.
Yeah. And then even at the end, even though it's not like a huge character arc after like they literally try to choke each other out and then they talk, then the very last scene is they're cleaning up the store together and Randall's like, before he leaves, he goes, do you want me to do anything else? He actually is like, I'm trying to show you, like, I care about you, man. And like, it was so little, but it was nice. It was very Napoleon Dynamite in that way, where you're like, it's not that crazy, but like, it was good for them.
It was good.
Yeah.
I'm still, the whole like Caitlyn having sex with the dead guy.
Oh.
I'll be honest, I'm still a little like,
Disturbing.
I know you needed to go edgy, but like,
yeah.
does someone just not move when that doesn't seem... Because I would have got it if the guy was like, because it set him up to be this like hornball.
Right.
And like if some girl came in and he was like, hey, I'm a hornball, this is awesome. And then having a heart attack because it was like, oh my God, it's a young girl and this is my dream because I'm a disgusting human.
Yep.
I would get that. But he was already dead. So I didn't believe it. I don't know. And then I get we need to like not like Caitlyn, but couldn't you just like have her... Couldn't she have just cheated on someone else? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess if he wasn't dead, she wouldn't have been, like, traumatized. Not that I want her traumatized, but it just kind of felt like that was the only way to, like, get her out of the plot and have her, like, leave. But then in the end, Dante's like, all right, I'm gonna go visit Caitlyn, then I'm gonna go talk to Veronica, and I was like, okay, but sounds like you're still doing the same stuff. I hope you're not. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll never know.
I wonder if we watched this younger, would we be like, no, but we all understand he should be with Caitlyn.
Ugh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're like your love life is so...
Stupid.
Yeah, it's so stupid. And you're just like, no, but they like love me.
They talk late at night in secret. That's love.
That's love. She only cheated on me 8 times, not 9.
I mean, Randall calls him out on that. He's like, she cheated on you all the time. Why are you glorifying that? Like, he's like, you literally got cheated on, like, every day. Dante's like, yeah, but... He's like, no, but, like, you got cheated on. Again, Clerks cartoon, everyone. There's a whole episode dedicated to just making all jokes about how many times Dante got cheated on by Caitlyn. Where they were like...
Literally, Kate, people are going to be drunk with this drinking game. You've mentioned this comic...
Definitely.
Multiple
It's
times.
a cartoon, Bridget, not a comic. We should put out a special episode where you and I, we just record ourselves watching the cartoon because it's so awesome.
All it's gonna be, this is, okay, I'm just gonna save everybody the trouble. Me and Katie laughing inappropriately. Mom asking, did you ask for me? And then Dad saying, no, they never asked for you. And then Mary coming in and laughing later, but then leaving, like a silent laugh and then leaving. And then Jimmy coming in and telling us it's a stupid show.
And then all 3 dogs are barking loudly the whole time. That's
oh my
so
God.
real.
It's so real.
Well, I love this movie. I mean...
It's good. It's so impressive that he did this so young. And they talk all about his, like, so he was in Vancouver Film School and he kind of was like, we're not doing anything. And so he, like, quit film school but met a bunch of people there. And that's kind of, like, how he got going with this. And it's really kind of amazing, like, what he did with nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's, for him, knowing that Dante was based off of him, who clearly he was, like, a whiny, annoying person. And then he put all this effort to make a movie. Like, there's something beautiful about that effort of acknowledging your ridiculousness. As well as putting action towards helping it is so cool. Yeah. And I said to Moses, I was like, I realize that people that like try to make films, there are so many versus who gets like picked up by a Miramax and famous. But you hear these stories and you're like, anyone can do it. Inspirational.
Yeah. Well, and I like the fact that you shared how he, with the whole smoking thing, like he really like stuck to his guns about it. And I feel like that in general for him. I feel like the movies he makes, they're not... Like, when I see a movie that he made, it's very distinctly his, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to be, I don't know, like something it's not. It never feels like it's trying too hard. Like, you kind of always know there's this tinge of, like, this is the vibe we're going with, and usually there's some essence of slacker in his characters, but you also like them, like, you don't always hate them. He also recently celebrated his 50th birthday, and I don't know how old he was, but he had a heart attack, and he's literally 50 this year, so he had a heart attack when he was not even 50, because he was very overweight. Because of that, became a vegan, and lost a ton of weight, and now he's, like, a lot healthier, and all that stuff, and even, like, stuff like that, you're like, that's cool, man, like, like, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
You're just a cool person.
Yeah.
I want to be friends. Kevin, do you want to come on our podcast? Hello?
Kevin?
Anyone? No one. Not yet.
Kevin.
All right. We'll try. We'll try next time.
So I also went down that Instagram rabbit hole with him, and the thing I also thought was cool is, so you keep talking about these cartoons, and he's like doing, if you go on his Instagram, he's like cartoons with his daughter or something, and just kind of, he does the right amount of self-deprecating without crossing a line or being egotistical.
Yep.
And it's just refreshing. Because even the whole veganism thing, he's like, no, I'm not fun. I'm vegan. Don't you remember? Like I saw some video and he was like, I'm such a loser now.
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, he's cool. I get the obsession. He's pretty cool.
So the most recent movie was called Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is starring Jay and Silent Bob.
Love.
And it has a lot of, like, the actors that you see in his movies, because there's usually, like, the same amount of people. And there's a part where they go to, like, a Movies, which in the Kevin Smith universe is, like, a fast food McDonald's-esque place, but it's called Movies.
Love it.
And because Silent Bob doesn't speak, he tries to order by showing an emoji on his phone. So because he's vegan, he shows, and it's like a young girl at the counter, and he shows her a picture of an eggplant. And she's like, whoa, man, whoa, and like freaks out. And like her manager of the Movies comes out, and in real life, it's his wife, Kevin Smith's wife, like real life wife. And she's like, what's going on here? And she's like, look what this sicko just showed me on his phone. She goes, let me see that. And she looks at it, and she turns to the young girl. She goes, what does this mean? Like, and she goes, it means he wants to, like, have sex with me, whatever. And so she looks at him and she goes, come with me. And she brings him off to the side, and then she starts making out with him and like pulls him into a closet. It's so funny. Oh my god. It's just so good.
Oh, he's good.
So
he's
funny.
Really, like, he's good.
Love it.
Oh my gosh. So the last tidbit that I read that you need to know is the egg dude, who played a bunch of other characters in the movie.
What? He did?
Yeah, it's like super sneaky. He played all these other characters. I think a lot of them did that because like they didn't have any money to pay people.
There was only 4 actors in the whole movie.
Literally, it is like mom, sister, like so many people were helping. The store in Red Bank, the Jay and Silent Bob store, is that still a thing?
Oh, yeah. And they, right now, have a sign on the outside that is a giant sheet, and it says, I assure you we're open on the outside window.
I love it. Okay, so the Eggman runs it. So we need to go to the store and be like, yo,
Can we just walk in with eggs and dress as Silent Bob? And then I picture that they're all...
I'll have a gallon of milk.
They're going to look at us and they're going to be like, get out. we don't want you here.
Or we'll be
Amazing.
in Kevin Smith's next movie because of our guts.
Oh, I'm ready.
Honestly, Kate, I know in the beginning your quest to be famous and never have to actually work, which I understand.
It would be so great, but,
I don't want to be famous, but I would love to be in a Kevin Smith movie. Like, just to see how it works and just to, like, hang out with them.
That also ups our probability of meeting Matt Damon. So, there you go.
Well, and compare your hair to Jay's hair and be like, okay, I was really wrong.
Okay, well, right now,
I'm super wrong. I'm so sorry.
Not as blonde. Like, look at it's happening. It's so bad.
Oh my god.
Well,
Jersey movie. We really doubled down on the Jersey.
I'm so happy you picked this.
I loved it. I definitely had to like get in the mood though. You can't. You gotta, like, pay attention. The dialogue is fast. You can't not know what's happening. And so once I did that, it was good. But I just kind of put it on casually, and I was like, ah! And I had to kind of rewind.
Yeah.
I was like, why is he falling out of a closet? Why is he drinking out of a cat saucer milk? What's
so
happening?
Big. Yeah.
Okay. Dad quote.
Just emailed it to you.
Dad quote. And here we go.
Okay.
Yes, Katie.
Hello. Our movie this week was Clerks. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, I have never seen it.
Okay. Well,
But things that I heard, if you start at the alphabet, if we start at the A, I hear they're all a-holes.
he's just calling them
37.
That's it.
But like, why?
'Cause he's never seen the movie, so he needed some assistance. So I tried to describe some of it, and that's what he came up with.
Oh my god. I like it. He's really, he's being a sport about this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
you picked Clerks for moi, because I
Ooh,
am too big a fan. And I kind of wanted to bring us back to the 80s, because we haven't been there in a while.
Whoa.
It's been a while since
My hair is getting bigger. My shoulder pads are growing.
Our last 80s movies was like, I think it was
Batman?
It was Willow.
Whoa.
That's a long time ago. So, watching this movie full of young men who complain about everything and feel entitled made me want to watch an 80s movie with a character who is a young man who feels entitled and other characters complain about everything. But it's a fun movie. 1986.
That's when I was born.
Yeah, but you've seen this.
Oh.
It has... I don't even know how to describe this. I feel like I've already led up to it. It is the infamous 80s comedy? Teen movie entitled
Okay.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, I thought you were going with Goonies.
That's 85.
Oh,
Don't get it twisted.
Chicago, baby.
Ooh, I didn't even think of that.
Ferris Bueller, Chicago. What?
I didn't even think of that. Oh, yay.
Sometimes life moves pretty fast. You gotta stop and look around a while. Did I get it right?
No. It's kind of close. We'll get it next time.
Wow. Well, I will be dancing in the shower with a mohawk. Thank you, Ferris, all week. Ha, hoo, ha, hee,
I'm
ha,
going to
hoo,
ride in a
hoo.
parade that no one asked me to get in.
You know what's funny is like Ferris isn't the complainer.
Yeah.
I forget his
Cameron.
friend's name. Cameron's the complainer, which is great.
Ferris
it is the same dude.
Ferris is
It's
like
like Randall.
And then
Totally.
Cameron is Dante.
Totally. But is Veronica or Caitlin?
No.
Or they're not. She's very like
She's
80s,
just-
so she doesn't have
yeah,
lines.
she's just there.
She just has to look pretty. They're like, don't talk.
Yeah.
Be like Vicky Vale. Be like Vicky Vale.
Oh, shoulder pads. Yes. Def.
Great movie. And also seeing it now with a Chicago lens.
Ooh.
I'm pretty excited to see if I could like catch things. Like, oh, that's there. That's there. Ooh,
They go to the like art museum, don't they?
Probably.
I think they do. So
Wow.
Yay.
So Clerks makes you think of Ferris Bueller's
Kind of.
Day
Well, in my head,
Off.
I was like, I want an 80s, so that's what I connected.
Man, Matthew Perry.
No, Matthew Broderick.
Wait, what's Matthew Broderick?
That's Friends, Bridget. That was 90s.
Oh, insert white dude.
A white Matthew. That could be anyone. Oh no.
Well, that's uplifting.
Sure.
I like it. Let's break out of COVID and start a dance party.
Oh, well,
Down the street.
we'll get arrested,
Well,
but we'll think about
you
it.
know. Well, I'll just tell you this, and I need to pull up my notes to tell it to you.
I could tell you that there's a bunch of savages in this town, but you're not one of them. So there.
Neither are you. Neither are you. And I can't find it. Oh, that's what it is.
What?
Kate, this podcast would be great if there was no customers. I felt that line so real. I was like, my corporate job would be great if there was like no people here.
Oh God, so relatable. I love it.
So real. I love you.
I love you.
So fun.
We'll see each other next week for Ferris.
To Ferris. Ooh! We're gonna do some singing next week. I don't know why. I can't think of the movie.
Me
the
neither,
songs
but
right now.
yes, there's
But they're there.
definitely music.
They're there. Ooh. Cars. Ooh. What? Okay.
Alrighty. We'll see y'all next week, listeners. I hope you're not too drunk from our made-up drinking game of Clerks the Cartoon. Oops, said it
Did you
again.
get-
Take a sip.
Oops.
Whoops. Love you all.
Toodles. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, among other podcasting websites. Or listen on our website at sisterswhoseenit.buzzsprout.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at Sisters Who Seen and on Instagram at Sisters Who Seen It, all spaced with underscores. See you next week.